Hello and welcome. You're watching the Hindustan Times. I'm Abhishek Singh. We're coming to you from the sidelines of HTLS 2025. As you're aware, theme of the event this year is Transforming Tomorrow. And to talk about that theme and some of the other key issues, I have somebody with me here who you would all like to hear from, because it is, of course, from the all-important oil sector. And I have Mr. S Sahney here, Chairman, Indian Oil Corporation, with me. Thank you so much, sir, for taking out the time and talking to us.
Thank you for calling me. Thank you.
So, it is a sector which is very important given India is a net importer. But instead of that, I would like to talk to you about, to begin with, of course, the crucial step that IOC, like other organizations, will have to take, and which is also in sync with what the theme of the summit is, which is Transforming Tomorrow. So I want to talk to you about, to begin with, about the net zero goals of IOC, and what is the timeline at this point in time in your head looking like? By when can we expect that IOC will turn into a net zero company?
We have a very ambitious program of turning Indian Oil into a net zero company by 2046. 2046 is when India turns 100. In 2047, we will be net zero. That is our ambition for doing that. And for that, we have a very laid out, detailed laid out plan for reaching Indian Oil to net zero. It includes a very big chunk of renewable energy. It includes a very big portion of bio-based fuel, bio-based chemicals, bio-based energy. And it also includes other forms of energy which will be there in our portfolio going forward. Because today we are supplying around 9% of the total energy of India. I'm talking of energy of India, total. Right. So our portion is 9%. And what I feel, or what my calculation says, that when we are talking of 2046 or 2040, when we are targeting net zero, India's energy demand total will be at least 2 to 2.5 times of where we stand today.
Right.
So even if I have to maintain my 9% of my energy portfolio, I have to grow double. But my ambition is that we want to grow more than 9%. I want to go up to 12.5%. For that, we have made plans. So you can imagine the trajectory that we are targeting for. Maintaining my 9% of the energy portfolio, I have to go double. And if I am going something beyond it, then I have to go beyond that also. And most of this extra energy portfolio is going to come from sustainable sources. And that is going to be a very big portion of my initiative towards net zero.
Yeah, and that's also important, not just from the point of view of not net zero, but also from the point of view of cost to the consumer. Because, I mean, it is also important to ensure that the cost remains in the budget of most Indians, right?
It is. Affordability is the basic part. Accessibility is the second part. And assurance of energy is the most important part. And all these three A's have to come with one S, that is the sustainability part. If it has to be sustainable, it has to be affordable, it has to be accessible, and it has to be available to each Indian. So it has to be done. And today the trajectory is going towards that only. And for India, this transformation is, I'll say, a godsend opportunity, because we are already importing, as you rightly said in the introduction also, that 87% of my oil needs are getting imported. So if I can deviate, or if I can pivot away from oil, or I'll not say away from oil, I'll say all additional energies, if they are coming not from oil or not from fossil, that will be a godsend opportunity for the Indian economy itself, for the general public at large, for the economy, for the government, and for as Indians, as proud Indians, we will be truly standing our own legs if we are able to ride this wave of transformation. This wave of transformation is going to do wonders for our economy. That is my firm belief.
Right. And I mean, that's great to hear, because it's not just an aspiration for India. It is perhaps a necessary aspiration for a country like ours with a 1.4 billion population.
It is great. It is a great opportunity. I always looked at it not as a compulsion, but as a choice. But if we can do that, we have done it. We have shown to the world that how we are started the blending of ethanol into our petrol, and how it has started from 1%, 1.5% 10 years back to 20%. Today, we are putting up India's biggest hydrogen plant, green hydrogen plant in Panipat, that I am putting there, and it will be ready for production in 27 December. That is the biggest green hydrogen plant. today Indian Oil is the only company in India which has got the license to produce sustainable aviation fuel. The aviation fuel of the aircrafts will be coming from biosources or from the waste.
Right.
This one that I am talking about, the plant that I have got the license for, it is coming from the used cooking oil.
And this is in Panipat.
It is also coming up at Panipat.
Okay.
So that will be ready to produce, or I will be ready to dispense that sustainable aviation fuel starting April of 26. So
Right.
like 4 months down the line.
Right.
So SAF, I am ready to produce, which will be good for taking care of at least 1% of the total aviation fuel requirement of India.
Right.
The plant that I am putting up there. So at least a beginning, 1%, but yes, it is a beginning, good beginning.
Right.
So green hydrogen, sustainable aviation fuel, plus renewables. These are the three big bets that we have taken. And I'm sure that what initiatives we are taking, they will certainly clear the way for a big ecosystem for green hydrogen and a bigger ecosystem for sustainable aviation fuel and for sustainable energy sources at all.
Yeah, some of the words and keywords that you use there, make me feel very tempted to ask you a lot more questions along those lines. But I'll refrain because there is a paucity of time, and I'll circle you back to quickly the summit, which is what we are all here for. You managed to attend some of the sessions?
I would attend the last one only before lunch.
Right.
That Amol Majumdar and
Right.
the cricketer, and that itself was like it shows like how much potential is there in our leaders. These leaders are not very conventional leaders in suits and all, but these are the leaders who are bringing transformation to the country, to
Yeah.
the whole ecosystem. That is where, and that also shows that you don't have to be a MBA graduate or coming from a good college or something, but you can still bring transformation to whatever space you are working with or whatever space you are engaged in. And he is a very good example of the whole team, the women team. I must congratulate them with your through your channel that they have done a wonderful thing, and they themselves are good leaders and led by a good coach who himself is a symbol of transformative leadership. And we can learn so many things from what they have done, what struggles they have been going through, what problems they have faced, and how they have overcome them, and how they have motivated the people to perform beyond imagination. And that itself is a very transformative moment in the history of Indian sports, whatever has happened last month in the Women's World Cup. That itself is a huge thing. So that is very inspiring. That is very interesting. That is very, and now the after lunch session, we are looking forward to some more bigger names of transformation leadership.
Yes. And the biggest name in that sense would be perhaps the last one to speak, and that is, of course, the Prime Minister himself.
Of course. Looking forward to that.
Right. No, absolutely. Great stories there. And of course, that becomes a theme for my next question to you, and perhaps the last. And that is, of course, about leadership. So if you were to, it's been almost a year, in fact, over a year since you took charge. How would you describe your leadership style?
That's a very cliched question, I suppose I'd say, and there are cliched answers to it, but I don't want to get into it.
Okay.
My firm belief is that you can't have a leadership style per se, because you are playing different roles in different arenas.
Right.
If you are in the boardroom, you have a different leadership style you have to play. And if you are with your masses, if you are with your managers, you have a different leadership. You can't hope to bear the same leadership style in both the arenas. So it has to, but the overall concept is that you have to be inclusive, you have to be firm, you have to be people's, you have to have people's pulse with you. That is, if there is a mixture of these three, and if there is some name given to that leadership style, I would aspire to do that, and I try to do that in my day-to-day life when I can include these 2-3 components of it.
With your permission, I might just help you do that. Agile, flexible, adaptive. Does that work?
Maybe one of them. You are looking for one word. You are using 3 words.
I just give you options. You pick and choose.
Yeah, adaptive has to be there, but still you can't be adaptive at all times. You have to be firm sometimes also. So you have to mix and match. But yes, the basic premise has to be there, that you have to be transparent, you have to be firm believer in your people, you have to be authoritative also, and you have to be adaptive also.
Right.
So these are the 3-4 components of leadership style that I
And of course,
aspire to
keep
be.
taking the organization forward.
Of course, that is there.
All right. On that note, thank you so much, Mr. Sahney, for taking the time and talking to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.